Hi there. On today's episode, we open locker 763, ready to pick up The Substance, as it's the movie we review. I'm Charlie.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Eddie.
This is Straight to POD. All right, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone, listeners. Welcome back. Welcome back. You guys are hosts on the podcast. What's up, Chris? What's up, Eddie? Um, let's do a quick review. So it's a lot of movies came out kind of this weekend or last weekend and a half. And I think between the three of us, we've seen a couple of them. So quick review on everything that's not the main title, which is Substance. We'll start with The Wild Robot, the new, I think it was DreamWorks movie.
It was.
I didn't catch it, but I know you two did. How was it? Should people go see it?
Yeah, this movie is just gorgeous looking. It's like all the
Yeah.
backgrounds are like painterly looking. And I saw it in Dolby and like all the especially like the like near the end of the movie, all that stuff just like popped out like very well. And the story is like a robot learning to be a human-ish or animal-ish, I guess, for this one. And it's just like a nice story about that and like her raising one of the animals that was left behind.
Are there humans in this movie that can learn to
Yeah,
be a
but they're
Uh,
human?
not
Technically,
part of
yeah,
like the storyline. They're there for context, but it's not really about that.
I saw
But
no
it is a
humans.
nice story. For me, I don't know. It felt like Chris, maybe you could do it. The fox felt familiar, didn't it?
because it's Pedro Pascal.
No, because it reminded me of Zootopia.
Oh yeah.
Like his
Hmm.
not just because I think it's DreamWorks too. No, Zootopia is DreamWorks too.
No, it's Disney.
Oh, it's Disney. But the mannerisms and even like the voice and everything it reminded me of like Zootopia, of like that kind of fox. So I always thought it was the same fox. I was like, this fox is in Zootopia. Watch, it's gonna come out later. It's one giant fucking storyline. Um,
I mean, where the movie goes, it's kind of Zootopia by the end.
right? That's what I figured. That's what I figured. I figured like this was like a preview to that but to your point, Chris, that's it's a really good point. Well, I mean, at the end, what are the animals eating? You know, is this like the Lion King? I guess I also have a question
I
about the
assume,
Lion
right?
King, but we're all cool until it comes time to eat. Then we have to like survival of the fittest. I guess nature will take its course. But anyway,
Yeah.
what other movies are out there?
Wolves. I think we all saw Wolves. The George Clooney,
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt movie.
Oh, I like that
Which
movie.
I thought was all right.
Yeah, that was all right too.
It wasn't like anything crazy. I thought it was gonna go a different direction.
Yes,
Um,
I didn't like the story, but I liked the acting. Something about the longevity of Brad Pitt and George Clooney working together just works very well for me.
it just kind of felt like what's that other movie called? Ocean's
Oceans?
11.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was gonna be them protecting this guy, not like what it turned out to be, which was like about drugs. Um,
It's always about drugs.
yeah. Oh, but to the Wild Robot, should everyone go see the Wild Robot? Looks like a unanimous
Oh,
yes.
of course.
Oh yeah,
Especially if
definitely
you
go
can see in
watch it. Go watch
theaters.
it.
Definitely
Go
worth
watch it in
seeing.
theaters. It's worth it. It's nice.
Nice. Should everyone go see Wolves?
Yes.
I think
Wolves
it's
is a good
on if
movie.
you have Apple TV Plus, go for it. It's an easy watch. I mean, I do wish it was more just like them more fun. I think they're making this into like a universe or like there's going to be a TV show or something. So
Oh really?
if you like the
I don't
characters, then I guess we'll
I
get
don't think
more.
the movie has enough merit for that, but sure, I guess.
Yeah, it is weird that like they pulled it from theaters and put on Apple TV Plus and then like, oh, we're making this a whole thing, a
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
franchise.
almost immediately too. It was out
Yeah.
for like 3 days, 5 days. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to get like a regular run, and then they pulled it like last minute almost.
Yeah,
So
I got more ads on like I think there was more ads on when I was watching Amazon Prime, like Rings of Power about this movie than I did like just in theaters and regular marketing. But whatever.
yeah.
Um, cool. Um, so if you have Apple TV Plus, go for it. I don't know anyone that has Apple TV Plus. I don't. So, next movie, Mild As with Audrey Plaza and I don't know the other actress's name. But for a movie
The main
that
character.
really hits home that Audrey Plaza is in the movie, Audrey Plaza
Not
has
in the
like
movie.
is not in the movie.
I
Uh,
felt
no
like a bait and
spoilers here,
switch.
but like
I felt bait and
yeah.
switched.
Wait, did you not see it with the trailer?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what made you think that she was
that's what
like,
made. Yeah,
No, I didn't think she was gonna be in the movie. Like most of her stuff is like her calling, at least on the trailer.
based on the trailer,
It
that's
was
as
just like her
much.
voice,
That's
right?
much. No, 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 no. Not even that. Based on the trailer, that's as much as airtime, screen time that she gets in the actual movie. What you see in the trailer is what you get in the movie.
Oh, so she's not like talking to her a lot?
No, that's what I thought
Oh,
it was going
wow.
to be. That's what I
Yeah.
figured it was going to be to some
Wait, that
degree.
is like a time travel type.
it was a
What?
couple of things. It was like time
Huh. All
travel.
right, so
It was
is it
like
is the movie good?
uh, actually, yeah, it was like a nice
Like coming of
little
age kind of
yeah,
movie?
coming of age rom-com movie.
All right. Huh.
Um, yeah, but for a movie that's like Aubrey Plaza's in this, it was Audrey Plaza did not have like a leading role in it, which is fine. I mean, it's fine, but like not a strong supportive role either. So,
Interesting.
and
That
if
is,
people,
huh.
yeah, very much, like I think Eddie and I was to go watch this, and it was all couples, and then it was just me and Eddie, just like bros watching this movie. And it does get emotional at a point. There was a lot of like sniffles in the movie theater, a lot of like holding back tears. So if buy go watch it if you that that's what you're into. Yeah.
I would say the WoW robot was a little emotional as well at some points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Robot had its moments too. Um,
Man, that is just shocking to me.
yeah, my old ass was not. I mean, it.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know how
Uh,
anything worked. Um, like
yeah, there's
if
no
you
rhyme
watch
and
if you
reason. There's
watch
no rhyme
the
into
trailer,
reason.
it's like okay, she sees her older self, right?
Yeah, like she takes drugs or right, and then
Yeah.
she sees herself.
Yeah. But then they have this like phone call thing
Yeah.
working. I'm like, that's a temporal phone call. That's a phone call through time and space continuum. Wow.
The black phone, how did that work?
Yeah.
Just saying, bring that back.
It's the same service. Um, whatever service they have, I want it. Um, cool. Last but not least, Transformers 1. Did we all watch this movie? Chris, did
I
you
didn't
watch this
watch
movie?
it. I
You didn't
wasn't
watch it?
interested.
You weren't interested in Transformers
Nope.
1? Um, it was cool. I liked it. It's better than everything that's come out before it, right? Um I thought it was a solid like all around movie. Eddie, what about you?
Yeah, yeah. I thought it did a good job of giving us a prelude to the franchise. I'm assuming it's the prelude to the franchise. Um, I just think the Transformers should have just been an animated movie at this point. It did very well. I don't know why people are saying it's not good. I mean, did very well. I mean,
Yeah, it's
you could
getting good
already see
reviews.
you could already see that this is going to be like a trilogy based off of this. And they have I mean they have the material for it. So it's good to see like the origins and the classic storylines of not necessarily good versus evil, but understanding background of these characters and who they are. So it was nice. I liked it. It was pretty good. You should
Yeah.
definitely go watch it if you can. Um,
What if you
at a
don't
movie
care
theater.
about Transformers?
If you don't care about
Will this make you
Transformers,
like get into it?
If I don't care about Transformers,
no,
I
it's
watched the
not
other
gonna like.
movies and I didn't really care for the live action ones, most of
no.
those.
This won't. This I don't think that this movie alone will get you into 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 watching Transformers. But I will say that if there's a continuation based off of this trilogy or whatever, like this movie, because there is still, at least for one additional movie, there's still a chance. Then once you watch this anthology type, then I will most likely guarantee you that you would want to watch the rest of the movies and be sorely disappointed, but you will get into it if you watch. If the the continuation of this movie is anything like this one, it would definitely get you into it. And I put money on that. I put money
Yeah,
on that.
I agree with that one. I also didn't understand how, like, we all know Optimus Prime turns into a truck, but it's not like set on Earth or anything. So how does he know how to turn into a truck?
I think they tried to cover themselves that way, where like everybody in this world is either a plane or a car. So, you know,
Yeah, true.
when they come to when I said when they come to
Because
the
some of
United
the other
States, when they come to
designs
Earth,
are like, all right, this is not like it's not an Earth-based
yeah,
car or
yeah,
plane or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, if you have a chance, go watch it. Cool. Any other movies that we've seen that we're not reviewing today?
I don't think so. I think that's covers them all.
Awesome. All right. Let's that being said, let's get into the reason we're here, right? The substance. Chris, can you give us a breakdown?
Yes, the substance. A fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger and better version of herself. This film was directed by Coralie Farget. She did Revenge. This is only like her second directorial movie, so it's a good start. And this film was starred Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid.
Thanks, Chris. Um, well, let's start with some spoiler-free thoughts. Eddie?
I went into this movie blind as I usually do. That's my thing. It's what I do. Uh, so I mean, it intrigued me. I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting honestly what it turned out to be. So it was a pleasant surprise. I think maybe around mid movie, I was like, oh man, I don't know where this is gonna go. Um, I think I was able to foresee kind of like what the major problem would be, but I didn't expect to way it ended up ending. The only thing I will say, I guess, a bad thing about this movie for me was I felt like they extended it when it could have ended a couple of scenes earlier.
Mhm.
Like it just kept going. But I did enjoy the movie, and we'll get into all of our in depth scenarios in the spoiler section. Chris, what about you?
Oh yeah, this movie was awesome. Like you, I didn't really know what this film was about going into it. I just heard like on Twitter and stuff, people like were raving about it. So I went in mostly blind and yeah, it's a great time. I mean it depends what a great time is for you, but I had a great time with it. Like
I
there's a
mean,
lot of
you're not the one taking the substance, right? So
yeah. There's a lot of like body horror in this. Like so if that's your thing, like very gross and stuff happens to characters and it's yeah. And I would say like we don't really talk about like sound design much in this podcast that often, but the sound design in this movie, at least the theater I went to, was really good, especially like whenever the Dennis Quaid character was on screen, like him eating or him walking, like he had like metal shoes and like everything was like they like the
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sound whenever he was whatever he was doing. So
yeah.
that
It
was
was
great.
like very, the sound of this movie did its job
Yeah.
very, very well. Even the other parts, the sensual parts. I'm like, why does this seem so correct? Just like you could feel it through the screen.
Yeah. Speaking of also the I really like the soundtrack as well. Like it was like electronic soundtrack as it was playing through. His characters were working out in the workout show or just doing other gross body horror stuff or food horror stuff. But yeah,
Oh,
it it kind of reminded me of like this is Suspiria, the remake of version of it, and in the in like Perfect Blue, like just like in the actress fighting herself kind of thing. But yeah, it was I really like this one. What about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I agree with all of the above. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Thought it was definitely one of the better movies that have come out this year. And I know the bar might not be too high on that, but um, yeah, it was solid like sci-fi and solid. I don't know if yeah, sci-fi. I want to
Yeah,
say
sci-fi.
sci-fi horror,
Yeah.
right? And then it was interesting to see. I mean, Demi Moore and Margaret did a great job, but it was also like Dennis Quaid's parts were also kind of done really well. And especially with like shots of him when he was like eating the shrimp,
Oh,
right? Just
oh,
to
that's
like,
so
yeah, just
gross.
to explain kind of like not only foreshadowing what we're gonna see, but also kind of explain who he is
hmm
um as a person. And yeah, and everything else. It was some. I have some questions, and we can get the spoilers as to her choices that she makes. Um, and yeah, like everything else, I realized at the end of the movie, I was like, oh, this is like, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but like this is like kind of like Dorian Gray, if you've ever read that, like the picture of Dorian Gray, if you ever read that book, like in high school or something.
I can
Um,
see that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, just kind of like the modernized version of it.
hmm
And um. Yeah, and it was good overall. I was super intrigued at because I didn't go in blind. I actually watched the trailer a couple times in theaters, and I think I looked it up one time, and I was like, oh, this actually has some kind of like substance behind behind it, and very well, very much so because I think Eddie and I came out of the movie theaters and we just immediately started talking about like what would we do in this situation? Like what was going on? Like what, what is how, how would we manage it, et cetera, like just et cetera, et cetera. Right. I think everything that we're gonna get into uh right now in the next 15 seconds, right? So any other thoughts before we just spoil this whole movie for the
Let's get
people?
into it.
All right, let's go. Anybody have some like I don't want to say controversial thoughts, but like strong opinion about this movie.
mm, no.
What
Okay.
like negatively? Maybe?
Negatively, positively, whatever else.
Honestly,
Uh
the only I want to know is how much does this cost? There was not a convention of cost in this entire show. Is your soul what you're paying with? I don't understand.
There's no cost.
there's no
It's
cost.
just free?
I
Yeah.
think your soul, if you want to put it that way.
It's like how do they
I was
stay in
thinking it's more
how do
like
they
a,
stay in
you're a guinea
business?
pig to testing this out before it goes to the masses, maybe.
Yeah, considering it was black market, right? Abandoned
Was it black
warehouse.
market? There is if something's free,
Yeah.
there is no black market. It's just free.
Under the table? Experimental?
I don't know. They
uh,
don't talk about a price. So I don't know. But I assume if it's for like celebrities that they would charge for it. I don't know.
Um, well, it's not for celebrities because like the doctor had it, right? He's just
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's just a
he wasn't
doctor,
a
but he's not
doctor.
like
He was a
he's a celebrity.
nurse.
No, he was definitely much a doctor. He was very much a doctor.
Well,
I thought
like
he was a
he's a
nurse.
lot older now,
Like a
so like
resident,
he
right?
could have been a doctor like when he was younger.
That's true. That was the only question that I had. I was just like, I don't know. I mean, she's a celebrity; she can afford it, but obviously other people are doing this, but we don't know who they are
Yeah.
except for the guy.
Yeah. But my thing is, when I was talking about questionable choices, is that so this movie sets up is that like Demi Moore's character, Elizabeth, is getting older or is older or is getting old. I don't know how to put it, but whatever. And then essentially like um they fire her from her job after she gets into a car accident and she already sees that they have like an ad out for like new for a new host for her like fitness program, fitness TV fitness program, right? Um and she gets set up with the the substance. She picks it up and she takes it, which first of all, super graphic the first time she takes it because it was just a whole new body came out of her and like her back was split.
Yeah, out
Um
of like she's pretty much births the other like the Sue, like the other version, the younger version of herself or whatever
Yeah.
yeah,
from her
like
back.
straight out her back. And I didn't realize I thought they're gonna switch. I thought it was like your body morphs. When I first saw this trailer, I thought it was like your body morphs into one body and then gets morphs back into the other body. I didn't know there was this like soul spirit transfer thing that's going on. And that you had to maintain the other body. And like I would not have been able to sew my own spine back together or like the skin on the spine. So I don't that number one, that's
Wow.
gross.
Well, I mean, like
Number two, I would
not
have done a
even
poor job.
not even just sewing, like she destroys the wall in their bathroom and builds like a secret chamber back there. So
Yeah,
like
I'm just
she's like
saying.
handy in other ways too.
Yeah, no way. I mean, they were like showing her. I was like, that's these anchors that you're putting in are not correct. But then it turned out to be like a fucking secret installment of someone who has like 15 years of masonry under their belt. Like I was like, there's no way you did all of this in one way. There's just not no way. That's the most unplausible thing of this entire movie.
That's the most.
Yes,
I'm
that's
just
the most
wondering. She
unplausible
could have
thing
been
of the entire movie.
handy her whole life. I don't know her background. Um, but she could have
That
definitely paid.
whole inside
She could
wall
have
is like,
definitely. She could have definitely paid someone to do this. Like I'm like, have you seen her place? Did you see her place? Like, I'm not saying it was penthouse of anything, but like it was definitely a nice place.
Oh,
So she
yeah,
definitely
super
has
nice.
money.
but it made
Hmm.
it seem like
And
his neighbor in the hallway were living in a crappy apartment. I was
yeah,
like,
that yeah.
why is his neighbor's crappy apartment, but you have a luxury suite? Like that can't be true. Next
Yeah.
door neighbors. She has carpet and everything, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, so two things. Back to my point. Number one, the first thing she does as her new younger self is like go get her old job back was like the questionable choice number one. Like you have money, you have years of experience, you're like now young and like, you know, young and attractive in LA. And the first thing you do is like, hey, I'm gonna go get my old job back because they didn't want me. But now you want me, don't you?
That
So
yeah, I was thinking that
Yeah.
too. Like
She fell right back into that. For as much as she felt disdain towards these people in this industry, she went right back to it. Like
like
I'm like,
literally
come
the
on.
same job.
with the
Like
same
you could have,
manager
right?
doing the
You should have
same
gone to
thing.
anywhere
I'm like,
else.
come on, bro. You have a golden opportunity here, and you just fall back straight in. Well, I guess I mean
I guess
that's
you
I get,
you do what you know, maybe. I don't know.
but no,
Yeah.
I feel like that was an underlining theme of the movie, where like you know, a gambling addict will go back to gambling once they come into money, or like an alcoholic will go back to alcohol. So it was like it
Yeah.
was very very much a story about her and her
Hmm.
desire to not wanting to, age and not wanting to be forgotten and legacy and so on. So it was very much story about, Demi Moore's character. So, the underlining thing is obviously like, well, you know,
Yeah. I understand that
this
part.
is
I
such an
understand.
addiction, right? It's
Yeah.
so dark that you're like, I hate these people, but I need them. I want them. They're the ones who give me the, was it the validity, or what is it? Not the validity, not, what was it, admiration, the attention? I don't know what word I'm looking for here.
I don't know, the fame and
Validation,
fortune,
of
validation,
like
Yeah, is
herself.
that?
Yeah,
I think
attention,
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Um, but anyway, um, yeah, that was creepy. I thought the whole 7 day thing was kind of like I didn't know where that was going, needing to like come back and change back. Um, I felt like all this was incredibly painful. Um, and I don't know if the movie does a good job. Like, despite the fact that Chris, you were saying the sound does a good job, I don't think the actual like visual does a good job of it, because it felt like it was painful, but at times I didn't. I was like, it doesn't seem like it's painful enough for what you're going through. I don't know.
Well, I mean, because the younger version to like sustain herself, she needs to like drain like fluid from the older version of herself.
Yeah,
And like to do that, she sticks like a huge needle into her spine and pulls that out. Like I feel like that, like I feel like we don't see it with the younger version just because like she's pretty much fine as long as she gets her injections, like the
yeah,
fluid. But the older version, like when she comes back, like her back hurts and she's just sore.
yeah. Like you're literally just
The
taking more of your
life,
time. Yeah, your life.
yeah.
Of it was it reminded me movie of the movie In Time, where
Mm-hmm.
their biological currency and everything that they're doing is actual 25 years, and then that's how they exchange time and stuff like that, where you're basically you're using the same amount of time, but was it we me and Charlie had a discussion on this, where it's like you're having was you're quartering, or you're having the amount of time that you have, but you're still living the same amount of time that you would, but just at a younger version of yourself. So 17 years are still 17 years, but half of that is you being young, and half of that is you live in your actual age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until like
I don't know if that is that double life or is that I guess that's two lives at the same time.
Well,
You're
because
not doubling your life, but you
she's not doubling
are,
her life.
but you
She's
are,
yeah.
taking.
but you
Well,
are
that's the thing.
doubling the amount of life that you're doing.
But you're also, if as long as you
But
maintain the rules, you're not taking away anything from your actual person. It's the moment that you don't change back every those 7 hours, that it starts depleting your actual physical lifespan. Because if you kept doing 7 to 7, there's no reason why. You know what I mean? Like if she did it the first time and she was fine.
I mean, Elizabeth still ages like
Right,
normally.
but the moment she almost like she's willing to, she didn't even know the consequences of it. She's willing to kill herself over some sex. Um like that's the moment you realize, like, holy crap, like your whatever life force that you're getting from me is what you're actually like spending. But prior to that, as long as Like it seems like as long as you maintain that 7 days accurately, your actual life doesn't seem to be affected physically or
Oh,
mentally.
yeah. Yeah, what you're
Like
saying.
you're just
Yeah.
fine. You know what I mean? You're still
Yeah.
34 or whatever, but you don't wake up like beat up or like drained or like bruised. You just wake up 34, right? And then you just switch again, and then you're, 17 or whatever the age is. So theoretically, I would say you wouldn't necessarily drain any of your life forces as long as you maintain
I
the
wonder what age you come
balance.
out.
Oh,
Like,
that's a good question.
does it have your age? Is he 20? Is Sue
I don't know.
25?
This girl looked. It was uncomfortably how young she looked, and then obviously being in Hollywood, it sounds like okay, she could. She's old enough to drink. I assume that. But Demi Moore also isn't necessarily old in this movie.
She was 50. That's why she got
Yeah, she was
fired.
50.
Okay. Well, that's not. I
Also,
guess. I guess that's somewhat old, but
I mean, it's old for like what her
yeah,
TV
for like
show was.
exactly. So maybe she was
And
25, 22, or whatever. Um,
and whatever the actress for Sue, she's been acting for a while. She was in like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Leftovers, Poor
I
Things.
thought she was the girl from
Yeah, she was born in
Quantumania, but
1994.
it's not. It's not that girl at all.
No.
She's like from different things.
Yeah, she's 29. So like around half for
Yeah,
the
half-ish.
yeah.
Yeah. She. I mean, makeup did their thing. She looked. I guess she's portraying someone who's a lot younger than that in the industry, but um, I don't know. I don't know what age you would come out. I would assume it would be half. Um,
Yeah.
or it couldn't be like 7 years younger divided by seven. What's 50
Yeah.
divided by seven?
50 divided by
Just
7,
doing.
like 7. 7 times
Yeah,
7
it's
is
like seven.
49. So
So
it's
that's
7 point
29. So it's like seven
whatever.
point something. Okay, so
It says the substance serum that creates a younger, more beautiful, more perfect version of the user. So it doesn't really say the exact dates.
it's not even
Or
like a yeah, because I thought it was gonna be a clone of herself. I'm like, people are gonna recognize that she's now like
yeah, because it's
20, but
definitely
it's not. It's
different.
like a completely other.
Yeah.
It's like a yeah. It's like a. It's not even a clone. It's just like a derivative of who you are. Um,
Not
which
even, it's
again,
still you.
it's still you,
And
right? And I guess that's
that's
Yeah,
what
the
that's
customer
twist.
service kept
Yeah,
repeating.
it's like you are one, and the
And it's
whole
like,
time
she's
I kept
taking my
thinking
life
like,
away. It's like, she's not, you are.
yeah, you're the same
or it's like,
person.
man, she just sits on the couch all day. It's like that's still you.
That's
You're
still
the same
you.
person.
Yeah.
Like I got that almost immediately. Like I understand they were trying to go for like this. I don't know if it's split personality, but I'm like you are the same. Like when you pop out, you don't like there isn't a new brain, right? You're still sharing the same.
Yeah.
Like it made it seem like when she like especially when they were going back and forth, where she just made a mess of the entire house for the other girl to pick up. Like I guess that's the stabbing in the back. Like the Sue wakes up like super like, what the hell? I was like, what are you talking? You know, you did it yourself.
Right.
Why
Yeah.
are you not aware of the mess you made?
Yeah. I was
And
confused as to what Sue knew and didn't know. If they're supposed to be the same person, I imagine they have the same like knowledge. But it
Oh,
seemed like
I
times
wonder if it
Sue was what's going on? Or it's like,
see, I wonder if
let me
it's
check out this lady's closet because she doesn't have anything new. Or like, it's like, why are you looking through it's your old closet. Like, you don't know what's in your closet?
yeah,
I feel like
like
it's like when they split, then each of them has their own like mind kind of thing. I mean, they're still one, but they don't remember what happens during their time asleep or whatever. That's what I assumed.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're the same brain,
Because
but
like yeah, even like Elizabeth, like it doesn't seem like she knows what's going on. Like her whole apartment changes very much.
yeah, yeah, that's true. It's
That's
like
true.
it's the Yugi effect, I guess. That makes sense. That makes sense.
And it's like she did the interview with Jimmy Fallon or whoever it was,
Yeah, like
but
she's
she
watching on the
watched it as
TV.
if it like as if this is new information
Yeah, this
to
is new
her.
information.
Hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They're same entity, but obviously different same person, but different, I guess, mentalities that they have, or the different ratio of brain waves, brain memories, or whatever. Um.
I'll take it.
Okay, that makes sense. That
Uh,
makes sense, though. That makes sense.
General question about the movie. What were you guys confused as to what year it was?
I thought it was in the '90s, but they all had smartphones, so
But there were smartphones in it.
yeah,
But then she was using a home phone.
which is weird.
But then she was like, if she's 50 in 2024, that means she was born in the 75. But the
Mhm.
way her TV, like her TV program were like
She was an adult in the
TV fitness
80s.
program.
Yeah.
She was an adult in like what, the 90s, and like were exercise
I think it's
TV
like
programs
ambiguous
popular in
time.
the 90s.
Yeah.
But then her star made it seem like she was like from the 20s.
Yeah.
It was
The
based on
beginning of the movie made it
based on
seem
like
like she
what the
was a lot
movie.
older. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this lady should be like 80 years old, right? Like 90?
I
Wait,
mean,
what? Why?
Because like the beginning when they're like her
Uh-huh.
star was like being put up, and then there was like multiple people like walking over it. It seemed
Hmm.
like there were just years that were coming by, but like the years started in like the 30s or the 40s.
Did
And
it?
that's
it made it seem that way.
yeah,
It
it
made
made
it
it
seem
seem
like it
like
was
it.
like a lot back then.
Yeah. And I feel like it was done
Hmm.
on, and I feel slight part of me, like 80% of me, 90% of me, feels like it was done on purpose. Like you're not really sure. To kind of to add to the confusion of like, who am I? Am I this person or am I this person? Like kind of like, or like, or like, I'm traveling back in time, but not really because it's me. Add to that kind of like um feeling and essence of the movie. I felt like it was kind of done on purpose, this ambiguous like time that was set. Especially because it's like why are you still using a home phone? Like I know you're 50, but like everyone has a cell phone. Everyone has a smartphone.
I
And she
long
I
for
think
the
does have
she
a
days of
even
home
she
and
does.
phones.
she
She
and she
does.
even has a
Yeah.
smartphone. It's like, so why
I
are you still
long for the
picking up your
days of
home
home
phone?
phones. I really
See,
miss home
Eddie
phones, man.
knows. Eddie gets it.
I would I know, but I don't actually have a house phone. I still remember my actual house phone number. But I miss house phones. Yeah, just that didn't make sense for me. It also didn't make sense that they made it seem like her star was put so long ago, where I was just like, I recently went to the Hollywood, walk or whatever. There are still some there from the '90s, and they're still in pristine condition. I don't feel like they let it go. I don't feel like Hollywood lets it crack that much.
Well, I think that's just to
Yeah,
show
I understand. Like, you were once
like
new and you're playing, and now
yeah,
you're
like
old and
she
cracked, and like,
she won the Academy Award and
yeah,
then she became like a fitness
yeah.
like
Which I
workout
guess
lady
back in the
like and
day
then
that's what it was, right? If you were really famous
yeah.
and really hot, not hot like in the sense of attraction, but like the it thing, like
Hmm.
you everybody wanted to drink Coke with you, or Pepsi with you or whatever. Yeah, and then you obviously everybody or in the early days either did infomercials or they did like really weird like guest star appearances on TV shows to stay relevant or get a paycheck, because that's how you did it, or you went into like wrestling or something to like continue with that name recognition or to continue somewhat of fame. I guess fame is a hell of a drug. I guess, if you really do look back in the early like Hollywood days, the people who were once on top did a lot of stuff to try to stay in that limelight. I guess it's the equivalent of influencers now. I guess it's still like, oh, I haven't seen you in 10 years, and 10 years doesn't seem like a lot, but for someone who's been on the internet making money, that's a lot.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the Hawk Tour girl's in it now, and then everybody, in like a year or two, and be like, I don't, what's the next thing? It's like,
I
and then
mean
they got,
probably even less than that now. Like it's I feel like it's weekly at this point
That's true.
almost.
Well, I mean, at
Like
least monthly, right? Because I always see
yeah,
those
like
memes in
there's
my
like, oh,
phone where it's
it's a
like,
new thing, new
yeah,
meme or new even like just
yeah.
news in general. Like it's everything is so fast these days. It's like, oh yeah, remember that happened? That was like a week ago, but it feels like forever in internet time.
No,
So
yeah, no, low key, yeah. I mean, even this year, we're already in September. We're already in October. Jeez, not even September, October. And the things that happened over the summer seem just so far away.
mhm.
But it happened literally just a couple of months ago. I was like, remember that? That was last year. I was like, dude, that was like 5 months ago. Or even things that felt that are actually farther away didn't feel so long ago. I was like, forgot what I was looking up. I was like, oh, I remember this. I was like, yeah, that was in 2022. I was like, holy crap, that was in 2022. Doesn't even feel like it was 2022. It doesn't feel like it was 2 years ago. It felt like it was just maybe a couple of months ago. Oh man, time is moving. We would definitely take this substance because we are aging ourselves really hard right this. So it's like time is just moving too fast.
Would you guys take the substance?
Oh man.
We're older. Well, I don't think we're
Yeah, I don't know if I
old yet.
I wouldn't take it just yet.
You're gonna pop
Um
out like a teenager?
yeah, right.
yeah, ugh, geez, I don't know. Not in
Yeah.
this day and age. Hell no.
Yeah. You know where I
Uh
thought the movie was gonna go? I thought it was gonna be that Demi Moore's character was gonna be the manager of her own self. I thought it was gonna be set up that way, where
oh, that
Elizabeth,
would have been nice. That would have
you
been
know,
Mm.
nice.
and then but but that would have been a nice like it would have been a nice movie. Like, hey, I'm looking out
It's
for
a little too
myself.
nice for me,
Yeah, I'm looking out for myself, and everything ends up okay. Instead of this like. But I think the movie does a good job that it's like, um, you get reminded like, oh, she's doing this and she's doing that, and she's just sitting on the couch and she's taking my life force, for lack of a better word or whatever,
I mean,
stem
that's pretty much
cells.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, life force, stem cells. Um, but I think it does reach the fact that it's like, this is still you. Kind of you're just selfish, and it's like it doesn't matter who you are, you're selfish both ways.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it kills, it's killing you because at one point after that, like, can we talk about this disgusting ass meal that was put together?
That I
um
couldn't. That's disgusting.
it was bad enough
Yeah.
that it was just like you're just eating and sitting in your apartment watching TV and doing nothing, right? Which could have helped. It's like, well, you're unfulfilled in your old life, so, or feel unfulfilled in your old life. So obviously that's going to reflect.
Man, I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
He was I mean that guy was awkward and weird, but he was just being a genuinely nice guy and
Mm.
just not what you
Yeah.
wanted to do. You did
Which
not
is
want
like
to go
the
down that
first
path.
glimpse of like her feeling either good
Yeah.
about herself or like
Yeah.
fulfilled or like, hey, let's finally have something to do. And then she just spirals out of control.
Yeah,
Well,
like
yeah, I
she
yeah.
kept seeing like in that scene with like her old like childhood high school friend or whatever who that guy was. But like it was like every time she would like, oh, I'm ready to go, she would see the billboard of her younger self and be like self-conscious, like I'm not good enough kind of thing. And then she would just kept going to the bathroom and she just gave up to get ready.
I also feel like that was also like it's not I don't know, not the point of the movie, but like the symbolism in the movie of like you're ugly on the inside and you eventually become ugly on the outside because who you are truly inside will manifest itself to the world because you could be young and pretty, but she was just as Charlie said, it was just narcissistic and you know self-centered
I
and
mean, like by the end of the movie, she was literally killing herself
right,
just to
exactly.
be the young and the younger version, like full
Yeah,
time essentially.
which again I don't like. At some point something should have clicked, right? Like you can't, this isn't sustainable like at all. Um, so a truce or something. I don't know. I just felt like
Yeah,
her
some kind of
the overwhelming desire. Well, I mean, again, I guess that's the point is that when an addict doesn't know which an alcoholic doesn't know what beer will kill him, a cigarette, someone who smokes a lot doesn't know what cigarette will give him cancer, so on and so forth. Someone who eats, a lot of junk food doesn't know which cheeseburger is going to give him a heart attack. So I guess she was just like, yeah, fuck it. I could just keep going and keep going, which I don't know
And
how
she's
long
like
that
addicted
lasted.
to
yeah,
Yeah.
like
but
we were saying,
that's
like
not even
addicted to the fame and
Yeah.
the being on top again, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, but that's the fact that you have to regenerate. Like it doesn't even come like across your mind. This is like limited, like
No, I don't think so. I
really
think when you're in a
limited.
I don't think so. I think when you're an addict, I mean, and again, I'm giving it the title of an addict because this is what I assume the movie wants to portray. You just really become blinded. I'm also curious of how long this was supposed to, like, how long this time period lasted because that little montage of like, oh, just one more week or just one more day, and it's like, oh, we're on the cover of Vogue, and we're doing this, and like, oh, it was New Year's. It was New Year's. Like,
Well, like she did pull out like a lot of the fluid and like she was like pots and pans kind of like just putting it in there. So I assume
Yeah, she was
at
like,
least a few weeks, like a month maybe more.
I think it was just like 30 days. Maybe.
Yeah. Because she also had like the food was running out as well.
damn, she took a lot of that substance. That was like,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm
Well,
dying.
what induced that was this like Demi Moore wakes up or Elizabeth wakes up and she's even older.
I thought
Um,
she wasn't gonna wake up because I'm like, what is there left? What is there left? Like
yeah, but
an
she's even
hour.
older where like her knees are cracking. We have to like crack her knee to like get up from the couch, right? And then she like opened up the French cookbook and then just started cooking everything
Oh, that was
in the
so
French
gross.
cook. Oh, first of all, where do these ingredients come from? Holy moly. But you are tearing up the kitchen. And I thought it was a turning point because I was like, oh, she found cooking. Now she's like fulfilled in her life. Now,
That's
now
what I
that
thought
she's
too. Like she like
now that she's like this brand new hobby. But then like Sue wakes up and we see the damage and it's just nasty. That's just nasty.
well, I guess Sue did leave kind of a mess like when she was like during her time, but it was
Yeah.
like bottles and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah. The
the
same. I
food
also
stuff was
thought yeah,
disgusting.
the other direction I thought it was gonna take was like um she sees her like finger get old,
Hmm.
right? Or she's like older now, and I thought she was gonna take revenge by putting like I don't know some fattening substance in like the food bag,
Mm.
so that she purposely makes like Sue like fat or like ugly or like cuts her, like something
Well,
like
like they do. Well, I mean that would hurt herself. You know, it's like does she doesn't want to hurt the young version because that's like she's popular and stuff. But like she does like there is that like dream sequence where she's the young Sue is doing like the workout and then like a chicken wing like pops out of her butt and then like she's pulling it out of her belly button
that.
later
Yeah,
on.
that was
Oh,
crazy.
like in
That was
the
crazy.
in her dream.
Yeah, like that dream sequence. He's like, "Oh, I just been my other self is just eating all the time." It's like that's still you. You're eating.
Yeah, but why does that affect her? Like that doesn't affect her, right?
Well, yeah, I
I don't
guess
know why that was
it's
an
just a
issue.
dream.
No, I just meant like, why does Sue care what the other person does when they're not alive?
Well, I mean, she did make a huge mess with the food. I guess
I mean,
that's
aside from that, I just meant like she was like she eats all the time and she doesn't do anything. I was like, well, yeah, that's her, that's you, but that's your side to like just do whatever the hell you want to do.
I think like Sue thinks Elizabeth's just wasting her life away, kind of. And it's like why can't she like have this week to herself to like eat and sit on the couch? Well, I should be out here being young and doing work, I guess. I feel like that's
Okay, I
Like
don't.
she's just jealous of herself, right? That she gets to be out.
It's a very very dark commentary on the psyche of one person. I guess it took like a Beau is Afraid type of like direction at the end of the movie, or even in the middle of the movie. I was just like, seems eerily familiar of like the sequences and some of the stuff that was going on. Um, I did not expect that at the end the way it was the way the end kind of where Sue and Elizabeth kind of morph. I wasn't expecting that, like at all. What did you guys think of that sequence?
Yeah, the ending essentially she's run out of fluid and but she still wants to do the New Year's Eve celebration thing, like be on TV and stuff. So and then the Sue body is like falling apart. Like her ear falls off, right? And like her teeth are falling out.
Yeah, just because she
So
doesn't have. She ran
she
out of stabilizer.
yeah, she runs home and then she injects herself with the activation, which it says only used once, and like she turns into he's like, oh, if I just use this on my young self, it'll just make an even younger and better version of me. But it turns her into like a monster essentially, like heads and
Monster
arms on
Eliza
random.
Sue. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she still put the dress on, she got it on somehow.
That I
That
didn't.
was terrible. That was
I thought that was
horrible.
gonna be a dream sequence. I didn't think.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be like another dream sequence or something because everybody seems to just be like okay with what's going on. I'm like, it's just
Because she
the
has like
voice, the look. It was like the like, oh, it just made me feel so uncomfortable. Um,
it is interesting like that. I guess you can say like the commentary on that. Like she cut off the photo, like her photo of the Elizabeth character, and like stapled it to her face essentially. And like everyone's like, "You're on now, go ahead." And, like no one really cared or even looked at her really
hmm
until she was on stage.
yeah.
Um,
Again, I just that's what
everyone
made it
cracked
seem
up.
like
Everyone cracked up at the theaters when she was put on earrings.
yeah.
I love the earrings.
I was laughing. I was like, this is
Because it's like,
ridiculous.
what?
It's like, where's my
What?
ear? It's somewhere over here.
What ear are you gonna go for here? Oh man, that was funny.
I was cracking up during the blood geyser.
Oh, she's just like got a laser for like a cannon,
Like
like a
her
fire
like
hose.
hand falls off or something, and then
Yeah,
she
gets
just
like
like
chopped
starts
off.
hosing down everyone in the audience.
I just like that like nobody leaves. Everyone just stays there.
Yeah, everybody's
Like,
just getting squirted by blood or whatever. So I was like, leave? Why are you still sitting there?
Like
Get
they
out
were
of
trying to
here.
leave, but it's slippery.
Oh, and like she started pulling out her teeth before that and everything. Like the movie does a really good job of grossing you the hell out. I'll give you
Oh
that
yeah.
much.
oh yeah.
Um, so
Um,
that's good.
a lot of I like how it's a New Year's network TV event, but there's just like a lot of boobs on that stage, a lot of nudity on
There's
that stage.
Yeah, there was a lot
I
of
mean that's
nudity in this
just
movie.
oh actually that's a good yeah. For like a
Just a lot of
network, like
yeah. I was
yeah.
confused by that. I was like, oh no, the what's it? The FCC. The
Yeah,
FCC is gonna
Yeah.
fine
because
everybody.
granted, it's a New Year's Eve party, but this is I don't know if it was this became porn or if it was not porn, but it made it seem very like grimy and like I was like I understand I guess network execs for whatever year it was or if it was current year are kind of like grimy, but that that final performance, I'm like, there's a lot of naked chicks. I don't know if this is being televised. Like, what's the main core audience here, and
Well, I think
why
that
is your
was just kind of the point, right? Like even like the Dennis Quaid character and like the other execs, like they were very like I feel like that was like of a time, like that kind of exec, like
well, it
very
was
like
current.
old.
It's current time, but not current time.
But
That's why I guess what
yeah,
timepiece
it's
are we
like
talking about here?
ambiguous.
Because everybody has smartphones, but like You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But then
Yeah.
again, it went so extreme, not extreme, but it went like very adult NC-17 version. I mean, NC-17
I
direction
mean,
that
this
your
movie like had
main,
like a lot of nudity and like so
yeah,
many butts, so many
but
close up on
in the
butts.
context of that last scene of like why the go-go dancers or whatever, the
Hmm.
flamingo girls were like topless, like that all leads up to the face of your industry that is a, again, I don't know what her age is, but a very, very young, female. Like that's what you're surrounding her around. Um, I don't know. I guess we've all we're here talking about this in a very like as if we didn't have the things we were watching growing up in the 90s, but I kind of felt like back in the day I don't know, maybe we understood what was going on. Like I remember hearing the phrase sex sells very young at a very early age. Um, so I was just like, just put in a hot chick, it'll sell, like for anything. Like, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah, I think that's
like
just
it was
I
like,
think Dennis Quaid's character is just a personification of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but she explodes. I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know what is that? What that happens? She just explodes on
Yeah,
herself.
like so.
She just kind of comes
She's like
apart.
running away from like everyone's like, "You're a monster." I mean, because she's kind of is a monster at that point. But like she's running away and she falls and essentially her body explodes.
I thought that's where it was gonna end. Nope, it keeps going. This movie keeps going
And
for
her
another like 10,
face.
15 minutes.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, she falls and it explodes. I thought the movie was gonna end there, but then like
That was it,
she keeps
right?
crawling. Like there's a
Yeah,
cut
it's
scene
not
and then
10,
she keeps
15 minutes.
crawling.
It's like
It's
a
a very
minute.
long scene of her crawling. I don't think we need all that scene. We could have just like cut her
No, they
to the
needed
It's
scene of
to.
long
like
to
going.
you.
Yeah,
It
they
was. It
needed to
was
show
just
her.
like
It
a
wasn't
thing,
that
rubber
long.
thing, rubbing around, and nobody on the street seems to care. I was like, man, you're gonna get run over or hit
It's
or
New
eaten by a
Year's,
dog
no
or
one's there.
something. It's just so
What's
funny that her
crazy,
star is that right outside the studio.
yeah, I do agree with you on one thing, Eddie, is that like as it was happening, I was like, was this necessary to go like this far? Like it could have just been like she becomes a monster and then explodes or something like that, and they could have ended just fine.
I low key
You
was
don't think
thought
the
she was
star
gonna
was
wake up.
a big a deal? I think that was a great ending. You didn't think that
I
was
think
good?
no, I think the
Oh no,
ending was
not
great.
the
I just didn't think the scene of all that was necessary. I think if they wanted to, they could have done a better job. Like her running to the studio with her picture on, and they could have had the same sequence of everybody's like her walking through and everybody telling her like, "Congrats, you're gonna go on stage," blah blah blah, and then her eventually falling and decaying on her star would have been perfect. You just didn't have to do the additional sequence, like the additional scenes of all of that leading to it. Is my thing. You could have ended it the same way, just cut a lot of that scene away because that was just I don't know. It just felt long and
Hmm.
unnecessary to me. I mean, the ending I liked that. I liked exactly how it ended. It landing on it and then her like falling into it and then kind of just like life goes on type shit. I like that. I love that. I just didn't think everything that led up to that was necessary. They could have done so I don't know something else. They could have cut that a lot of the scenes out. I
Hmm.
just like, I don't know what's going on. But no, but yeah, but the ending itself, the actual ending, I like. That was pretty good. I didn't think it was gonna go that way either. So it's like full circle. I like it.
if you guys were 50, I wonder what would have happened if she would have taken it in her old body, but I think her old body was dead by then.
Well, I mean, it
Like, her,
says, yeah, I don't know. That's a good
No,
question.
you could
I
only
feel
do
like
it
it would still
once.
like if
just
you
come out.
activate your body, I don't know. If you
I mean, it was
activate,
already activated,
well, if
right?
you activate it on your original body again,
I don't know. It said one use, so I assume it would just be another monster kind of thing.
okay. Would you guys, if you guys were 50, would you guys take it?
Yeah, probably.
Now the question is, would you guys be able to maintain it?
Yeah, probably.
If they kept giving it
Wow,
to us, right?
so disciplined.
I don't think it's discipline. I just think logic because the other guy, right? The other guy, the old man and the young
Yeah.
doctor or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they also seem like they were going through the same problem.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, has the other person started taking more of your time? But it seemed like they were still like it led up to that. It wasn't the main issue of their relationship, for lack of a better term. It felt like, oh, I'll take 2 more days as opposed to the 7, because I'll still be able to provide you the time, but you get 5 days and I get what was it, 14? 7 and 7 is 2. I get 9 days and you get 5 days. Type of, you know what I'm saying? Like it seemed more like the other individual was just taking more time and giving less time to the old person. But I think if you're in the right state of mind, I don't think you would need to take this anyway, right? It seems like everybody
Yeah.
wanted to be young or whatever. And at this point, if you're a degenerate or a bad person or whatever, obviously you're not going to be able to maintain it. But somebody who is in a right state of mind or life fulfilled or has purpose wouldn't take this. So I guess it's a catch 22. I guess
I would take it if my older self was fulfilled.
you would take it if your older self was fulfilled.
Yeah,
Only if
because
your
otherwise
older
you're
self
just
was
gonna
fulfilled.
you're just gonna spiral on the one side.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
like
It's
imagine
like,
you had a
oh, why
great
why do I
life.
just stay young?
Imagine you had a great life at 50, like friends and family.
Then
And
I'm
then you
like,
take it, and then you become younger, and you can do whatever whatever you want.
So your younger
it's like,
side would be
sorry,
the
we can't hang
degenerate.
out for this one week. Every other week we can't hang out.
You know, it would be like, oh, okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks because I definitely want to see
I
friends and family in
feel
2 weeks. But this next week, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do.
Sorry,
Become a
family,
stock.
don't open the secret door over here.
Like I'll become a stockbroker. I don't know. I don't know what I would do with my younger self. Um, but definitely, and this is where Elizabeth also messed up, is that you become younger and you have all these resources and stuff. It's like I feel like you could have been, I don't know. There's a lot more she could have done.
Oh, there's a lot more
Yeah,
you could
like
have
she
done.
was
A lot more.
literally she got her star because she was Academy Award winner. Like, why not go back to that acting? But like she just like we said, like
Yeah, she went to
she literally
trashy
took the same job.
infomercial. Yeah,
You know?
that's not nice. Also, I think I'd be able to do this for like at minimum a solid month, at maximum a year, and then I'd be fine because you're able to opt out. You are able to opt out of
Yeah,
this.
you stop taking
You
it.
don't have to
Yeah.
do it for the rest of your life. I just have a
Hmm.
big scar in the back of my spine. But,
Yeah.
aside from that, just in this day and age, get a nice tattoo to cover that up. I think after some point, after like, and again, to Charlie's point, I would only take it if I was fulfilled, do it for a little while, and be like, all right, that was nice. Let's go back. I don't ever want to do this again. That's it. Yeah, you did
Yeah.
it, and you did it.
Or I would find other old people so we can support each other through it. And it's not just like,
Oh,
you know,
dude, doing it with the
like
crew,
her,
all of us
Elizabeth
straight to
and the
PLD,
Elizabeth and the old
injecting us.
Elizabeth and the old doctor should have like started a support group. Because when he's like, a week is a long time, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, it's like
Mhm.
just hang out with each other for a week. What y'all gonna do? And then hang out with each other when you guys are young.
That's not what
Yeah,
they would ever
that's
do
yeah.
that, I guess. So,
Um, all right, well, if you did take it, what would your name be?
Hmm.
something douchebaggery like Chad or something.
Chad.
Chad or like Max Powers, like James Bond. Something dumb but powerful.
I wonder if I would be taller. I don't.
I wonder if I'd be thinner.
If it's a more
just
perfect me.
Well, they sell the
It'd be a little
commodity, right? Like I
taller,
don't know.
right?
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
Mm. I'd be thinner, you'd be taller. Chris would just come out as Chris.
Chris would have like instant six pack, even though he never works on his abs.
He'd he'd wake up like Peter Parker in the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What's
yeah,
going
that's
on?
That would be
Like,
Chris.
that's exactly what Chris would be on. Like, I
it.
don't need glasses anymore, and I'm all
Yeah.
what now? What is going on here?
Yeah,
But
That's funny. Oh man. I would
no, I
definitely
wouldn't
make my
mind
older
anything.
self very comfortable. I would buy myself like a very nice chair to sit in. I want to just lay on my bathroom floor
Yeah,
for
that
a
was another
week
thing. I was like, man, you took all this time and effort to make this like secret room, but you did not like make yourself comfortable at all.
at all. Like
Like you
imagine
would
how sore you would be if you're laying on your bathroom floor for a week. Not even like
not
completely
even
flat.
cushion,
Like
just straight. Yeah, like you're sprawled on one side.
Yeah.
Like
Honestly,
that's gotta feel bad.
do like two chairs like next to each other. Because like when you have to do the blood, that means you don't have to switch the bodies out, you know? Easy. Two chairs.
that's true.
Just
One
get a
for
bed,
younger
get
and
two
one for
bed.
older.
Like that room was big enough to house like a whole like sauna in there, dude. Like I don't know, just I feel like if you're gonna put the effort into making the room, put a little bit just extra elbow grease just to like make yourself comfortable for you at least, you know? Like, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, that's gotta be like really messed up. But I'm still thinking about my name. I think it'd be like
Yeah.
Xavier or something. Aiden. I would call myself Aiden.
Mhm.
You took that wasn't gonna be mine, but mine was gonna be Aaron.
Yeah,
Aaron?
Aaron's a good one.
Hercules. I'd name myself Hercules.
No, God, no.
Hercules?
Zeus?
Zeus?
No.
Hmm.
Mm,
I don't know.
Apple. Craig. Who the hell am I talking about? I'd probably name and change my name to Peter Parker. I know I would. Fuck, I would change my name to Peter Parker in a heartbeat.
I think it'd be like Malcolm.
X?
Malcolm? It's not a good one. Yeah. No, Malcolm Y. Uh, I don't know. Can't really think of a name.
You, Chris, you'd be Christopher.
That's my actual name.
Um,
Looking at popular baby names, Liam. It's not bad. Um, James, maybe.
James?
Yeah.
Adolf.
What if like what if you came out a different like skin color? Because perfect means white. And that's how the
I don't know if we
substance
want to go there.
she did come out paler and she did come out, whiter. So I'm just putting it out there. This is the way the substance works.
Well, I guess
Her eyes were blue, even though her eyes were not blue. Um, her hair was blonde, even though she's a brunette. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it literally changed
Hmm.
a lot of the
I mean, but it's based on
phenotypes
your
of it.
genes, so
Yeah.
she could have like um what do they call it? She could have like the genes for blue eyes. It's just or green
Well, I
eyes or
mean, by
whatever
that logic,
whatever
we
it
all have the
is.
genes for blue
Hmm.
eyes, don't we?
Correct. So
Yeah, we
you could
do.
also come out with blue eyes. I mean, I don't know if you personally have them, but um what is it, like blue eyes is like the recessive gene and brown eyes are the whatever gene,
Oh, I'm
dominant
definitely
gene.
recessive. Yeah, I don't
Yeah, I feel
know.
like if I were to do it, like the younger version, like do like because if you're 50, you're not as like active, like do more like activities like maybe like extreme, like do snowboarding or something, like just something like crazy active, like that kind of thing, like skydiving. I don't know. Because like when you're older, you're not really doing those things, right?
Yeah.
True. So
I don't
extreme
know.
sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be the new Tony Hawk.
Would your name be Tony? I feel like you'd be a Tony, Chris. You'd be like Tony Eagle. It's better than a hog. Uh, is that what you would do? Extreme sports?
Yeah, that would be my thing I would get into.
Nice. I think I would get into acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I feel like the first week you'd just be just drinking and eating everything, right? Like like drugs, alcohol, food. And then I think the following time, the next time you do it, you're like, oh, okay, let me do something maybe productive or cool. Which would be like, I don't know, motorcycles, extreme sports, throwing yourself off a plane.
What if you like your younger version, you because like they don't have a social security number technically, right? Like they're like a new person. So
Yeah.
like you just start robbing banks and
Or you're at the liquor store.
like
It's like,
you
can
like
I see
commit
your ID?
crimes.
Like,
Yeah.
here you go. It's like, this is not you. This is an old man. Oh man. Yeah, I guess the first step would just to be take, you know, get a birth certificate for yourself. But I guess it works out in this movie.
Mhm.
I don't think I'd be able to tell my boss, like, hey, I'm gonna be working every other week. FYI. I hope that's cool with you.
I mean, I guess it's like a workout show. You can like re-record some of those. Like if it's like once a week or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like what is this? Harvey? Like Harvey said, he was like, "Oh, we'll work around your schedule. Don't worry."
Yeah.
But I don't think that works in the real world. Like, what does that doctor do? Is he just out of doesn't go into the hospital for a
Maybe
week?
he's like a travel nurse. He like it's like, oh, I only work when I have to.
Cool. Any other crazy crazy thoughts on this crazy movie? Cool. All right. Let's get into ratings. Should people go watch this in theaters? And not a sequel, but maybe just something similar to it. Um, Eddie, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I think this was a really good movie. It was enjoyable. It gave Black Mirror vibes. Um, so I enjoyed that. I was waiting for a twist to see where it was going. And I did like it. I did like the twist at the end. Um, of like them morphine and like, you know, the inevitable, like it's time to pay the price. What's gonna happen? Um, and like I said, all the, you know, despite the fact that it just revolves around, you know, what would I consider what three main characters, four at the most. I think the movie did well. The story moved very well paced. It's not a long movie either. It's like it gets to the point fairly quickly, which is nice. Um, yeah. Um, if you want to see 50-year-old naked Demi Moore, by all means. If you want to see naked 30-year-old, whoever the girl is, you know, by all means. There's a lot of nudity in this in this movie. So, you know, have fun with that. Uh I would definitely go recommend you watch it though. Aside from that. It's a good movie. Go watch it in movie theaters. Or I feel like I don't know. I feel like this is one where you could either wait for it to come out or if you have time. Like again, it's not a long movie. Go watch it in theaters if you can. So it's a give or take. I definitely give this a 3.5. I don't even know, 3.5 nipples out of 5. It's just so much nudity, so much nudity. Yeah. So definitely go watch it. Sequel. I'd watch a sequel of this. Now that we know like the rules and stuff like that, maybe there's, you know, kind of like Limitless. There's a story out there of like how somebody managed to crack the code and now they're able to maintain their old self but their young self at the same time. I don't know. Something like that would probably be cool. Um, Chris, what about you?
Yeah, we give this 4.5 chicken butts out of 5. And yeah, this is probably one of my favorite movies this year. Like there's not I don't know, like just thinking it back about like other movies this year, like there's not a lot that like I don't know if I put a top 5 at the moment, but this is definitely up there for one of my favorites. It's just the like the body horror is like super gross, but also like engaging in a way, like and just like how it shows just like how uh sorry yeah, just how the I guess the theming of like what would you do to be famous, like even at the end, like she is literally has like heads and arms coming out of wherever in her body, and she's still like, I need to make it to this show. Like that's interesting. Like just like what how much would you like destroy your body for that, you know? Which I thought was interesting. And yeah, I would say go see this in theaters. It has like the sound design especially good. Like so like hearing that and like even with the music, like the music is like pretty loud in this, like a lot of scenes. And yeah, and there's a lot of butts in this movie. Like just like close up zooms in the workout and just randomly just and just loves the butts. And for a sequel, um my idea for a sequel is like not someone who's someone maybe like in their 30s or something, like a little bit younger. So like when they take it, they're like in their teens, and it's like a way for them, like it's kind of like espionage, like them infiltrating a school or something. Like you don't expect this little kid to be like that smart, you know? Like it's kind of like they're using that to try to figure out something, like kind of a spy thing, using it for that
I can
aspect.
see that.
Could be interesting.
The substance back to school, you know?
Yeah. What about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this 4 stapled face masks out of 5. Yeah, I like this movie. It's probably one of my favorite movies of the year. Um, um, Considering we haven't got on a lot of good stuff, but this is great, right up my alley, sci-fi horror. Um, it was made you cringe and made you like want to look away, but you couldn't look away. And even with like not the body stuff, the body horror stuff, like it was
The
still pretty
food too?
gross. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it even used food um to kind of show the kind of polar opposites that Elizabeth and Sue are going through, even though they're the same person. But yeah, everyone should go see it. Go watch it in theaters. Send us your thoughts because I still want to know what year it is. And I want to know what like everyone would do in the same situation. Um, if they took the substance, and what would you do? Logistics aside, don't worry about work or your birth certificate. Like, just imagine you're also a superstar. But yeah, go watch it in theaters. And as far as a sequel goes, uh, well, spoiler alert, she's dead, so it wouldn't be her again, right? But I can see a sequel where I I don't want to make this too much like a yeah, F it. I'll say it. A sequel where it's like 30 years down like 30 or 50 years down in the future, and it's kind of like um it's more well known. It's not just one actress and one doctor kind of like trying to live their youth again. It's more like a small group of older people, um, a small group of older people, like a community almost that like have kind of got it down and have got roles, and then there's like drama in between. them and their younger selves and their older selves, and like that and that kind of thing. And then people start, taking each other out or taking each other's life substances, that kind of thing. Um, where it's more of a dynamic of it's not just you versus yourself. It's it's like, 10 rich people in one mansion away for a weekend or away for like a month or whatever. And then
That could be
seeing how that,
interesting. Yeah.
seeing how that kind of plays out. Right. And it's like, oh, like I'm young, Chris is young, Eddie's like, or like I'm old and Chris and I'm old and Chris is old, but Eddie's in the young self, so we just take his life substance, so we don't have to take away from ours, kind of thing.
I don't know if that works that
Everybody's
way, but
fighting for
yeah.
substance. I mean, I feel like it might. I feel like it
Yeah.
might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna
or
say,
like,
what if
yeah,
what
or
if
we
the
take
drug
his
is
life
just
juice, but then like I take too much of like Eddie's
Life juice,
I don't want to say that. That's weird.
universe juice. Well, I was thinking like
And
maybe
then,
down
like
the line,
spinal
maybe
yeah,
there's like a
spinal
whole
fluid?
there's
yeah,
a
but then
whole
like
other
my arm starts looking like Eddie's arm, or the kind of, or like my nose turns into like,
the
and then it gets to
DNA
the
mixing.
point. Yeah, it gets to the point where you're looking at me and you're like, why do you
Mhm.
look so different? And it's like, oh well, I've actually been taken away from you and
Y'all
stuff.
sharing needles? Actually, no. Actually, that idea would be good, or like even further down where there's like a whole society.
Yeah,
Like
like
it's
the
gotten
drug is
so
just on the
epidemic
market now.
that the whole
Yeah, it's
So you
there's a
don't
whole
know
like
you don't know who's actually who. Like,
yeah,
are you actually old person? Are you young? Kind of
there's
thing.
a whole
yeah.
economy and like a
Yep.
whole like society of like both young and old people, and you just don't know who's like what. It's like
Yeah.
ooh, It's a little creepy. You know what? You know what? Yeah, these are real good ideas. These are real good ideas. I like these.
Yeah.
I like.
So I'd like to see that, because you versus you already in this movie. We don't need a second one of that, right? That's society versus itself. Or if it goes to market, only goes to the ultra rich, and they're still young, but then everybody else is scrambling for this miracle drug. Um, cool. So given that, if there's any scenarios we didn't cover, anything we didn't talk about in terms of like what the substance is and would you take it and what would you do, feel free to email us at straight2pod@gmail.com. We're on Twitter or X, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Twitch. Everything on Straight to POD. And with that concludes this week's episode. I'm Aaron.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Chad.
Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.